G'day guys, today we are continuing the work on the old GQ, trying to make it into a bit of a nicer car, and as you can see here, we've got some pretty special stuff. We're doing the car builder's sound deadening on the Patrol, because as you all know, it's not a quiet car, pretty noisy on the inside, so we're hoping this stuff is going to make a big difference. Hear how echoey that is. Alright guys, so before we worry about any of the other products, the first step is to just strip the car. So we're going to be taking the seats out, center console, all the flooring's going to come up, all the old upholstery is going to come out. So let's get started on that. Grinding disc. Look at that, that's like it's like a portrait of someone. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's like, hang on, watch this. That's moisture all in the underlay. So that's why I wanted to pull it out as well, because I don't want my floors to rust out. Luckily they're still in pretty good nick, it looks like. So let's take off this front sheet. Alright, so all the vinyl's out. Now I'm just ripping off all this old underlay. There's broken glass in there, look at that. Yeah, all the big bits of rubbish we're just ditching at the moment. Alright, so before we chuck the car builders on, just as a final step sort of for cleaning, you want to make sure you rub everything down with like a white spirit to remove any sort of grease and wax, because otherwise the sound deadener might not adhere as well. Give everything a final rub down with that, and that should get rid of any sort of, you know, contaminants that might stop it sticking. To check if you have got your surface clean enough to stick, get a bit of masking tape, and pretty much if this sticks, you're good, and if it doesn't, then you're no good. And pretty much what you're looking for is for it to, like, you should be able to hear. That's to me, that's a good stick. And another thing, the backing's still pretty sticky, so you know it's not lifting off a lot of like sort of contaminants with it, because you can stick it back down again. So you know that the surfaces are clean. So we're now ready for the stage 1 sound deadening to go in. So yeah, this is in the car builder's kit. This is the first layer to go down. So this is a butyl rubber base layer, and it's got an aluminium top layer. And so it's waterproof, which is great for my car, as you've seen. All the old stuff was wet and shagged. It's good for noise reduction, which is one of the main things. Also good for heat, like reduction of heat transfer, so it can help insulate. Meant to be easy as to apply, so we'll see how we go. Alright, so we're gonna start with the rear wall. That's probably a good idea if you wanna do this, because you don't wanna do the floor and then have to be standing all over it to do this. So you start up high, work your way to the bottom. As you can hear, this is like a drum in the back of the car. So let's hope this stuff makes some difference. I feel like it should. Heard a lot of good things about it. Pretty much as you go, this is when you get a premium kit, you get the roller with it. So pretty much you're just rolling in all your contact points, making sure it's stuck down well. And it's got these bubbles on the surface that when you push down they squash, so you can see where you've already rolled over. And also in the corners, so use the end of it, so on the ribs, work that into the corners, push it right in. As you can hear, it's already taken it out. So with this stuff, it might be daunting to have to get everything to line up, you know, sort of picture perfect. But the idea with this stuff is you don't actually need to cover 100% of the area. You just want, like, you know, sort of the 95% sort of thing. So any tiny gaps in between, if you need to recorrect to get your lines straight, that sort of thing, it's really not that big of an issue. Yeah, because it's like rubber, it's like, doesn't matter if there's like bends and stuff, it just goes on. It's grouse. Yeah, it's going in a treat. We're gonna start doing the floor pan. That's just with one sheet. It takes so much of the echo out of it. I'm actually really impressed with this stuff, like, genuinely. Alright, so as you can see here, we've got bits in the ground that we want to keep exposed if we ever need to access them. So in this case, it's the body mounts and also just a little trim cover. So for the body mount, I just used the old bit of paper as a template and marked out where it was, and then just cut it out before we applied it, so it's still exposed. And then for these, I just marked where it was, and then I just went through with the razor blade then and cut it out. Update, I suppose we're coming along with it. We've done both the footwells. That side, like, all the main sheets are done. Alright, so we've done the bulk of the floor pan and the wall. There's still little spots, but we're going to use all of these offcuts to fill in that. Because we've still got a few full sheets, we are going to try to do the insides of the doors, like sort of as much as we can, sort of thing. So we will take off the door cards, and then we will see how we'll go about getting the lining off. With the doors, they are pretty sort of echoey, so nah, it's definitely made a difference. heaps deeper already. I can
sound, yeah, firm as.
Yeah. Just on the inside of the doors, we've just done where we could. So we've done a big sheet along here, and then we've done up above the bracing bar, another sheet along the top. Yeah, that's drummy as, wouldn't you agree?
That is drummy.
Alright, so we're sort of at a stage where we've pretty much done everywhere. So anyway, what we're doing, we're just using the offcuts and going over all the last exposed areas. Alright, so one of the sort of, I don't know, more cosmetic but like finishing touches sort of things, we've got this alfoil tape. Any seams between your sheets, if you want them to have a smooth finish, which might help for like when you're putting our foam over the top, that sort of thing, our acoustic liner, it pretty much just gets rid of any sort of edges. Alright, so we are now ready for the next stage in our sound deadening. So, now that we've got the stage 1 down, the next thing to go on top, this is for the rear wall, is our acoustic liner. So this is like, yeah, this is where the bulk of your sort of sound insulation is coming from. As you can see there, it is just like a sticky back foam. Unpeel the back, stick it on, work it into the grooves just like we did with the other stuff, and should be laughing. Yeah, that'll take heaps out of it, that will.
Oh, that's grouse.
Yeah, that'll take a lot out of it. Doesn't look too bad either, actually.
Nah, looks good.
Alright, so in preparation for our mass noise liner in the floor of the car, I'm going to clean the vinyl. So obviously this side's grubby as all the dirt and crap that I've dragged through the car. So we're going to clean that up, but also because of the stuff we're going to be putting in, that will make up for the thickness of this original underlay stuff. So what would happen is if you didn't take this off and you went to put this down on top of the new stuff we put in, you end up with too much thickness, and so you might find that certain things don't want to bolt in. So pretty much I'm just going to be going through on all these sheets and just pulling it off, and you're not going to get it all off, like there's going to be stuff stuck on the bottom, but we're mainly just going to eliminate as much of that thickness as possible. Alright, so we're ready for the final sort of layer. So this is a stage 2 mass noise liner light. This goes over the top of stage 1, but it sits underneath your vinyl trim. So pretty much just got to cut it out to size so it all fits in, and so it goes around all the various mounting points we need for the seats and that sort of thing. So we'll get straight into it. Alright, so just making a bit of a template piece. Just got this foam stuff we're going to use so we can sort of mark out where we have to make our cuts on our actual liner. Alright, so we have all of our mass noise liner light sheets down. This last area we'd sort of run out of our big sheet, so we're just using the offcuts. So we sort of just set it up in a jigsaw sort of thing all put together. And so now we're going to use our mass noise liner joining tape with a bit of glue to sort of stitch all the pieces together. So we're just going to sort of run strips, glue them together, and it should sort of, it'll fill up any gaps that would leak noise otherwise. Alright, so as you can see, we've got all the stage 2 now in, so that's all of our stages complete. So next step is to start putting it back together. So we're going to start by throwing in the vinyl trim on the ground, get all that to fit up, and then it's as simple as a few plastic bits and pieces here and there, and then our seats and console, and then we should be good to go. So on to that. Alright, so as you can see, we have the interior back together. Also, quick little note, I've got this new little 12 volt thing, doodad, I don't know, just needed something to take up the old pencil holder, whatever that's for. So yeah, that's just a little nifty volt reader and USBs and stuff. But anyway, as you can see, interior's back together. So we're gonna go for a test drive. We're gonna put this stuff to the test, see how much difference it makes. I reckon it'll make a ton. So we'll just do the same thing as normal as we did last time. And we'll use the decibel reader, see if we can get a different reading. I reckon we should be able to, so let's get on to that.
If you want to help support the channel, you can pick up an Aussie Arvo sticker. They're $5, free shipping Australia-wide. So thanks you to everyone who's buying them, means the world. Let's go. How much quieter is that? That is insane. It's like...
It makes you hear all the other stuff more.
You can hear all the other stuff that's wrong with the car.
Yeah, that's heaps quieter.
Okay, the car is a heap quieter.
Alright, so we're same straight as we did before. We're just going to rev the car at 3 grand all the way to 60k because speed limits are good. And we'll see how much noise it makes. I think previously it was like 78 or something, I can't remember. So let's see. Alright, here we go. here we go, here's the hill test. Steep hill, so we'll see how it goes. You can't hear the car when there's music going. Because, yeah, you probably find that the music cancels out any little sounds that does come through. Overall, I still think it's a good product. Like if you've got a car like mine that's, you know, you've taken half the exhaust off and it's loud and, you know, that sort of thing, it isn't gonna it's not gonna turn your car into how like a new straight off the factory floor car's gonna sound, you know? So like you're still gonna have a loud car, but that's not to say that it doesn't do anything.
I think I'll just add to that the TD42 is a loud motor, and Liam's car, he's not going for quietness. Like he's this straight piped, it's loud, and I think the sound deadening has done a really good job.
Yeah, another thought too, even if you didn't want to do your whole car because you were happy with the sounding, which, I mean, it doesn't really apply to a lot of new cars, but in my case, this literally had nothing here to begin with. Like, it had nothing there.
Yeah.
So the fact that you could even throw something like this on here just for bits that didn't already have any sort of underlay or soundproofing will make a difference in itself. Also, in terms of the product itself, at the start before I got it and that, I was sort of thinking, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, do a good job of applying it and that sort of thing. But it's actually really user-friendly. Like, I was surprised. Like, I didn't do a great job by any means, but I did better than, like, it wasn't anywhere near as hard as I thought. Like, the sheets just roll on and you can cut them every which way you like and mold them together and all that sort of thing. So I think that's a really key thing to consider, because a lot of people probably figure like, oh no, it's too hard, and otherwise I have to send it in to someone to do it. So at the end of the day, it's a comfort thing. It's not a necessity, but if you put it in, you're going to notice a difference.
Yeah, like it's definitely made a big difference in this car.
Yeah,
And not to mention, it was great just to tear the car down and put a bunch of clean new
I wanted to clean that anyway. So
it stank the underneath this car.
That's the other thing to consider. Like it's not necessarily going to take out all the engine noise, and that's mainly because so we only put the sound deadener up to, say, the top of the pedals, or it's just underneath the steering column where we went up to. So there's still a lot of, from the factory sort of the stuff on the firewall, that's still doing the bulk of the deadening for the engine. So we've just added stuff for road noise, road noise, stuff through the doors, through the back wall, and through the floor, essentially.
And there's zilch road noise. All this sound is engine.
So that's where you're going to see the differences. So the only noise now is engine noise, and that'll be coming through, I'd say, a lot of, because those places, like, we didn't do right up underneath. We just went to the top of the pedals.
Yeah.
So although it has taken a bit of noise out of the engine, and like stuff that might come from the exhaust end, that sort of thing, it's mainly in your road noise and wind noise, all that sort of thing. So in summary, really, it's a good mod to do, easy to do, and there's a difference, noticeable difference, especially in a car this old that doesn't have any sort of factory sound deadening in it. So yeah, if you like seeing us do stuff like this, make sure you give it a like, get subscribed, leave a comment, whatever you want, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
And the other plus is, your car no longer smells.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get an air freshener, I reckon.
No, it smells like a new car, it's great.
It smells like plastic.